I want you all to answer honestly in the comments. How many of you knew the Grammys happened last night? Because I didn't until I started seeing the stories pop up with videos of a guy dancing around with devil horns on. And apparently this is like the Kim Petras, who performed with Sam Smith. It's the first trans woman to win an award or something at the Grammys. But honestly, I had no idea what was happening. None. The Grammys used to be a cultural force. At its peak, I think in 2012, around 39 million people watched. I have the stats pulled up. And last year it was like 8 million. And so when you're in a lockdown and ratings are through the roof and everything, but your ratings are down by 70%, yeah, maybe you're not just culturally relevant anymore. But what I do find interesting here is the art choices made by Sam Smith and Kim Petras, as well as what Kim Petras represents. First, at the Grammys, which again used to be a cultural force, you can see for some reason the establishment narrative machine, the corporate press, corporate media are trying to push this, or at the very least, they're thinking this is what will make them money. Satanic, non-binary Sam Smith singing a song called Unholy. Kim Petras, I believe, is a German trans woman celebrating, and this is the important factor. Kim Petras is famous for getting transgender surgery before becoming an adult, as a child, as a minor, a young teenager. So when we talk about the cultural shifts that took place at the end of the 2000s into the 2010s, and you had a lot of people saying that if you do X, you will get Y, it opens the door. Well, these conservatives were all told they were crazy. But now, quite literally, we're at the point where you have these prominent activists saying nobody wants to give minors irreversible surgery that would effectively castrate or sterilize it. That's not happening. Sometimes maybe double mastectomies. But now we have two extremely prominent, famous individuals. You have Jazz Jennings, who got transgender surgery. I mean, puberty blockers, and I'm not trying to be mean to any of these people, right? Okay? I hope that's clear. But I believe it is likely puberty blockers sterilized, or I shouldn't say sterilized for Jazz Jennings, but prevented the development of reproductive functions. I think that was actually something they said in their show. And then as for Kim Petras, also as a minor, now unable to reproduce as everyone claps and cheers. Maybe that's what they want. But I got to admit, it does feel like there's something a bit satanic about the destruction and degradation of culture. Let me read you this story, and then I'll talk about what's going on here and the important factors as it pertains to culture. Because the one thing I want to say, as you're looking at all this, well, there's a couple things. The first thing I'll say is, like, I get art. Okay, your art is allowed to be edgy and provocative. I have no issue with that. But it is interesting what's added to the art, and that is Sam Smith claiming that he's non-binary. I'm not entirely sure, what that means. He's discernibly male. Maybe that's just me, old fogey, can't figure it out. And Kim Petras, who was biologically male and received surgery before becoming an adult. Those elements. That's factual. That's not art. That's literal, and they're putting it up on stage. So I don't care as much about satanic imagery, right? You want to be in a heavy metal band and you want to, put up satanic imagery or whatever because you're trying to be edgy and shocking. The issue here is the Grammys are trying to, they want you to clap and cheer at the idea of a male child being surgically castrated as a minor, as an adolescent. That is what is on stage. So we don't need to focus on the satanic thing, although many of you can probably say it's the same thing. Sure, if that's what you think. I'm just saying art can do that, right? I'm not going to fault metal bands who are like, bro, whatever, because they do something like that. And the song's called Unholy. I don't know the theme of the song, but maybe there's something even worse in there. But let me read the story for you. And I do want to say, as we're getting started, I don't know if you guys heard, there was two major earthquakes in Turkey. It was in Gaziantep. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, sorry. But southern Turkey on the border of Syria, and it's bad. It's 7.8 and a 7.5, I believe. There's not much for me to add to the story, so I'm not doing a morning segment on it, but I do want to highlight this and thoughts and prayers and whatever you can do to try and help if you're interested. it's tragic. These videos are horrifying. There's buildings falling over. This is a massive earthquake. So again, not much for me to add to that story. So I was going to go for the American cultural story for this morning. Postmillennial writes, in his Grammy performance on Sunday night, non-binary pop star Sam Smith staged a satanic performance of his song Unholy, for which he and the trans-identified Kim Petras won an award for Best Pop Duo. Petras and Smith wore red, as did their dancers, while they performed the song. Petras danced in a cage. Smith wore devil horns, while dancers in long red robes with long straight hair fawned around him in a ritual circle. I'll tell you what I found very interesting in this story. There's a bunch of other stuff to talk about today too, but I'm going to save the more overtly political for the Timcast channel. What I find interesting here is that many people have said that what we're seeing in society right now sounds so much like the end of days or Revelations. Is it Revelation? I think it's Revelation. I always get it wrong. I'm sorry. Everybody's always correcting me. There's no S or there is. I don't know. Revelation. And some people are saying, like, doesn't it seem like this is prophetic or it's prophecy? And, well, I don't know. I'm not saying that. But I do think it's interesting that these people choose to portray this to people who already have concerns about it, right? You have a large group of people being like, hey, what you're doing is demonic and satanic. And they're like, I know. Let's go on the Grammys. Let's all dress up like devils and sing a song called Unholy, while we cheer for an individual who underwent irreversible sex change surgery as a minor. Yeah, look, I got to tell you guys, it is coming. There have been activists that have been coming out saying nobody wants minors to get surgery, whatever. Not true, because the establishment machine is absolutely pushing it. And hey, the only thing I can really say is the end result of that, excuse me, is less people. Can't have kids, can't be more kids, and going to be less people. I wonder about that, huh? Smith danced in the center of the group of dancers in what looked like a staged ritual performance. Oh, really? Smith and Petras sang Unholy, about parents who leave their child home so they can separately go commit adultery. One verse discusses high fashion, including Balenciaga, which recently came under fire for, their ads, if you know what I mean. Petras breathlessly accepted the Grammy during the award ceremony, saying that Petras was the first transgender woman to win this award. The Hollywood audience went wild as the diverse duo comprised of two biological white males made history in winning a Grammy for their duo performance. That is actually really interesting. It is two discernibly male individuals winning an award. I mean, here's the video clip. I think the audio might be...
Sam graciously wanted me to...
It's not very loud.
...accept this award because I'm the first transgender woman to win this award. and I'm so...
Oh, they're going wild. Look at them all. They're standing ovation for this. All right. Okay, whatever, man. Look, I don't care how people want to live their lives. I really don't. And, we have transgender friends of the show and guests who've been on before and talking about things completely unrelated to trans issues. I really, I do your thing, I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy and I hope you're living a good life. And if this is what makes you happy. The question is, though, about Kim Petras and what they're pushing when they claim they're not trying to advocate for children to get sex changes. They are. We keep hearing activists say that's not true and they don't want this, but let me stress, as Hollywood gives a standing ovation to Kim Petras, I want to show you the Wikipedia for Kim Petras. Petras was born in Cologne, North Rhine-Westphalia. Her mother's a choreographer and artist, her father is an architect, and her older sister is also a singer. She was assigned male at birth. In 2006, Petras, then aged 13, appeared on a German television current affairs show in which she discussed her medical gender transition. At age 14, Petras appeared in a documentary and a talk show in a push to get permission for early sex reassignment surgery at age 16, before the minimum age of 18 in Germany. These appearances resulted in international media coverage of her transition, touting her as the world's youngest transsexual. In 2007, she was a model for a German chain of hair salons. Petras was evaluated by the head of psychiatric unit at Frankfurt Hospital, Dr. Bernd Mayenberg, and approved for gender confirmation surgery at 16 years old. Petras announced in November 2008 the surgery was completed. The Daily Telegraph claimed Petras was the youngest person in the world to have had that surgery at the time. About her surgery, she stated, "I was asked if I feel like a woman now. But the truth is I have always felt like a woman. I just ended up in the wrong body." In an interview with BuzzFeed, Petra said the first song she ever wrote was about this dude in second grade who didn't like me back. Okay. Well, look, what I think as it pertains to a lot of these young people and being born in the wrong body, I think it's about time we start reflecting on petrochemicals, plastics, PCBs, and phthalates. You guys know I use glass water bottles. Didn't always. Used to have plastic here. I made a lot of changes. You've also noticed I've lost a lot of weight because I started thinking about the things we do we don't care about and what we put in our bodies. And I'll tell you what really got me going. What really got me thinking about this. Outer space. No joke. Outer space. I'm thinking, we breathe in the air. It's a combination of gases. Our body uses the oxygen for bodily functions, and it's the right concentration for how our bodies work. And when you go into outer space, you have to have a miniature capsule which has a fragment of that atmosphere in it. And I really thought, humans are not individual independent beings. We are all interconnected parts of this biome and atmosphere. We move around in it as part of it. Just there's a bunch of different chemicals and functions come together to create this complicated process that is you. In thinking about that, I started thinking about what are the things we've been introducing to our bodies that could be damaging. And so that's why I was like, you know what, I'm not eating sugar. I should probably just stop. And then we talked about plastics, and I got rid of it. We still have plastic on our food. You can't get rid of it. It's impossible. But we've done a lot to have farm fresh food, farm fresh eggs, to get wax paper wrapped things instead of plastic wrapped things. It's not perfect. You're going to get plastics. But I have to wonder, these PCBs and phthalates, the reason I bring them up is they're endocrine disruptors. They disrupt your hormone balance. So for someone like Petrus, I have sympathy for her. I can't imagine what it must feel like to be in the wrong body. I mean, for me, I feel like I'm in absolutely the right body. It feels pretty good, I guess. I mean, I don't think about it. But after exercising, I'll tell you this, working out, skating last week, getting all sweaty and just feeling like I'm in full control, it feels fantastic. I can't imagine what it must be like to not feel that way. The issue, however, is I don't think for a lot of people, I think for a lot of people, it's an issue of, maybe for younger people, some PCBs and phthalates. Was it polychloral biphenyls or something like that? I don't know. We talk about it on the show. I'm not going to remember every single scientific word. But I wonder if in the womb, these mothers are drinking plastics, drinking from and eating from plastics, and these phthalates and PCBs are disrupting the endocrine system in the babies and feminizing male babies, resulting them coming out and being like, something's wrong here. Like they have a feminized mind or something. I'm not saying all. I'm saying potentially some. Then, of course, there's a social contagion factor, which is why I think shows like this are dangerous. If it's true that PCBs and phthalates are responsible for the uptick in transgender young people, or young people with gender dysphoria, I should say, then we're talking about a biological, chemical issue that needs to be treated and fixed. And that means there's going to be some people who are suffering with gender dysphoria. We want to help them. But it also means, we need to change this. This whole get up on stage and give surgery to children is not solving the problem. In fact, with a standing ovation from Hollywood, there's a potential for creating social elements of gender dysphoria, meaning there are a lot of people who are going to be confused. I mean, Sam Smith says he's non-binary. But what does that really mean? I mean, the dude is just a male. And the worrying thing to me about this is, my guy, you don't have to be a lumberjack. Men can be many things. Some men have deep voices and talk like this. And some men have high-pitched voices, and it's fine. You're allowed to. Men come in all different shapes and sizes. You don't need to come out and say you're non-binary. See, that's the social element. Non-binary, of course, is a social construct. Sam Smith is just a biological male. That's it. So I wonder if getting up on stage and giving a standing ovation, while I can understand you're trying to be heartwarming to someone you experience suffering, my concern is, are you going to have young people who are confused, who aren't dysphoric in the same way, and then you're going to cause them physical harm? The example, of course, I refer to is people who have detransitioned. Clearly, the social elements, the standing ovations resulted in some people feeling like it was okay or there's something they should do. They were encouraged by everybody who thought they were being progressive and doing the right thing. And then these people said, I was wrong. This is not what I needed. And there was no one really there to help me. In which case, these surgeries were detrimental and very harmful to these individuals. We don't want harm to come to anybody. I want these people to be happy. I want to stress as well, for someone like Kim Petras, I'm wondering, for someone so young, and also Jazz Jennings, could it be petrochemicals, phthalates, PCBs, plastics, in which case there is a real biochemical reaction that is resulting in young people experiencing gender dysphoria, and how do we help them? That being said, I don't think taking someone who's suffering from something like this and then putting them up on stage and clapping and cheering and saying, yes, 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 that's just, I don't think this is going to help anyone in the long run. As for the satanic stuff, I got to tell you, man, wow. I mean, I'll play this clip for you. It's the Grammys. There you go. You can hear it. Dancing in a cage, devil horns. And what's funny is it's also, who was that other guy? That rapper dude who put blood in his shoes? Man, they're really going for it. And I wonder if it's because they got nothing left to go for. Maybe they're deeply demonic people. I don't know. You can call them whatever you want. Check this out. From Statista. Number of Grammy Awards viewers in the millions from 2000 to 2022. In 2000, 27.8 million people watched the Grammys. Crazy. It started to fall down. Like 2002 was only 19, we'll round up. 2006 was 17, but it went up. In 2012, 39 million people watched. That's kind of crazy. And then it went back to 28, so they were doing pretty well. And then from 2020, it went from 18, 2021 to 8. 2022, 8.9. I think one of the reasons they may do the satanic thing is because they're desperately trying to get people like me to talk about it, conservatives to talk about it, to generate controversy, so that the next time the Grammys happens, people will be like, ooh, I want to watch because maybe there's something I can comment on in the cultural space. They're going for a negative audience reaction. You know, and I'm thinking about this too with people like Jimmy Kimmel. And it's like, maybe what he's hoping for when they do these segments that are just blatantly fake or whatever is shock content. Yeah, shock content. That's a lot of what we have today, and people love it. And I wonder if it's because we are a diseased culture. And I don't just mean us, I mean the world in general. I mean, think about it. It's not just the satanic. It is also the drama obsessions, well, I'm not trying to be addicted to TMZ, but yeah, the celebrity drama obsessions where they latch on to one person, that one person who's completely irrelevant in politics and culture all of a sudden gets elevated, and then everyone's screaming about celebrity or personality, and it's like, none of that is going to impact whether or not you have eggs tomorrow. And that's what's the most depressing thing to me. You know, what matters to me in what I talk about? Some people are like, Tim, you say you don't care for drama, but you talked about Hassan and the Young Turks and all that stuff. And I'm like, well, let me explain that. I did a video talking about Mr. Beast curing blindness, not drama. That's cultural commentary on something substantive that has 75 million views in less than a week. Hassan came out, a leftist commentator, saying he was filled with rage that it took this YouTube guy to make content out of it to cure blindness. And cataract surgery takes 10 minutes, can cost upwards of $6,000. People then started criticizing him, which is this tit for tat left and right thing. So I'll tell you why I want to talk about it. First, I'm like, why are y'all ragging on Hassan? He's right. How stupid is it that this 10-minute surgery they can't just get? Now, I disagree with him, and he says, oh, you defend capitalism. I'm like, well, dude, you gotta feed people who do the work. Someone's got to go to school for 10 years to learn how to do this properly to help these people. It takes technology. It takes academia. It takes infrastructure. But I agree. I think we'd be better off fixing the pipes in Flint, Newark, as some pointed out, Pittsburgh, and curing this blindness than a lot of other things. However, when I point out $100 billion to Ukraine, and they explain, they've not explained to us why they're spending that money, he gets mad at me. So the issue there is not drama. The issue there is, can we solve worldly problems and make your life better if the only thing we get in the cultural and political space is, I don't care that you're right. I'm going to disagree with you for the sake of my audience. That's not drama to me. Drama to me is like these channels that will talk about YouTubers. You know, I don't want to say these channels' names, but I disassociate from them. Like they make video after video, like the Young Turks I'll mention because I mentioned them in the San video, but they make a bunch of videos about me taking quotes out of context to just lie. I'm like, that is the same thing as the degradation of culture. That is the degeneracy, in my opinion. Because I can come out here and I can be like, here's what's happening to our culture. Here's how I feel about it. Here's what worries me. Will your kids have a good future? Will there be food? You know, I did a segment last week about, what was I talking about? I think I have it here. A woman in a gym and men don't help her put the squat rack back. She couldn't lift it. She was stuck and she needed help. Like that's not drama. That is our culture is being negatively impacted by these things. I'm not going to say these people's names. Typically, when I talk about issues too, I even said I don't want to mention who these people are who do drama because I'm not interested in the drama. I'm interested in the ideas on top of that. What are we doing as a people? Here's what I want to do. I want to sit down with people like Jeff Younger, whose kid has been taken to California and may be surgically or chemically castrated. I want to talk to sitting members of Congress and say, hey, what about this policy? What I don't want to do is play stupid drama games with people who make money off of making videos about me or other commentators, and all they do is spam my name. I don't matter. That's what really bothers me. If there's one thing that really, really makes me want to just quit all of this and have nothing to do with it is the drama nonsense and the obsession with me. I don't care. I'm not interested in talking to people who talk about me because I don't matter. I know technically it's not true. I have a large audience and I'm influential in that, right? But I'm a guy who complains about stuff on the internet. Basically all I do. And so when I see things, I'm like, here's what I think about it, and here's what bothers me. And I care about things that are deeply impacting our culture and our world because I want to go to Mars. I want to go to the stars. I want to terraform planets. I want to see humanity strive. I want to see people's lives better. And then what really bugs me is shock content. That's what the Grammys are doing. They're irrelevant to you and everyone else, and they know it. So they do this stuff to make you angry. And I'm just like, man, I don't know if there's a solution. I don't know if humans could be anything other than this. There's a Bill Maher segment that he just did, I guess the other day, where he said you can't change human nature, and Mao thought he could, and it was brilliant. And he rags on woke people, and it's one of the most respectable things I think he said in a long time. And so I'm actually like, okay, that's Bill Maher guy. All right, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, Bill. I've been a fan for a long time, very critical of some of his Trump derangement syndrome stuff, but he came around. So I'll take it. I'll take what I can get. I look at this stuff and it the Grammys, the drama, and I'm just like, look, we had Steven Crowder on this show. We had Candace Owens. Candace was booked well before the Crowder thing happened with Stop Big Con. I like the Daily Wire guys. I think they're all good people. I really do. And but I like Steven Crowder, and I talked to him like even after the show. I'm like, this guy's sincere. He really means it. And it's not about the drama. This was a conversation about the future of media and whether or not we're moving in one direction or the other. Are we going the traditional Hollywood route for independent media? It's going to be a new Hollywood machine. Hey, look, if the Daily Wire goes that route, I'm happy because they're producing a more traditional American values in their messaging in their content. But Crowder wants to go this more decentralized route. Very important conversation. It's not drama. It's, are we going to build a machine that better serves all of us? But you know what, man? With all the drama going on this past weekend, and of course, I know there's drama involving me. You know what I was doing? I was playing Hold'em. Had a good time. Went to a local casino. Just learning how to play the game better. And it was fun and funny, and people were laughing and having a good time. And I'm like, man, we need just culture building like this. Nobody talking politics. Everybody was just trying to get along, be friends. Handful of people there knew who I was and took some pictures. And I was like, ignore all the nonsense. Let's focus on the bigger picture issues here. I think the Grammys doing a Satanic award show matters. I do. Because I think they're desperate. And in their desperation, they will push ideas and culture that will further erode and dismantle and destroy. That being said, That's probably why they only have 9 million viewers last year, 8.93. They're driving themselves into irrelevancy. When you chase after, look, these commentators who only talk about me, surprise, surprise, it's like some of the most viewed videos they have. But then you look at their other videos and there's nothing there. And I'm like, my guy, do you know why you're getting no views on your political commentary, but you're getting a ton of views on your videos about me? Because your audience has come to expect that you're a drama baiter. And so they stop watching your channel. And then the people who stay just hate me. And all you're doing is making my name more recognizable. And I think it's stupid. But that's what they do. You know, maybe I should shut all my channels down and then just wear a mask and make new channels so no one will know who I am now. Because then what they'll do is they just dox you. And then it's just silly nonsense. I think people need to stop worrying so much about individuals and focus more on the ideas and where they lead us. But I have to say, though, in all fairness, we are humans and we care about people more than anything else. So I care about the systems in which people survive because bad systems means more death and decay. But to a regular person, they just care about the person. I'm not surprised celebrity matters so many people because we're people and people care about people. You're not going to go to a person and be like, let's talk about rock. They're going to be like, I don't know anything about that and don't care. I want to know about the person, the people, because people make up human existence. I can respect that. Me, I'm not interested in the drama, so I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all there.